if I go back to and count, yeah, about 18 or 19 people, and exhibiting for you today are Hydropower 78, PRD Wong, Tyler Salt, and Windfox 470. All runners that I know, they're all excellent runners, and they should be putting on an excellent race.
All runners I've had the pleasure of visiting with in the past, so should be exciting.
We should be getting started pretty shortly. I believe everyone is ready now, so we should be seeing some action here very shortly. So obviously we won't be seeing the Flute, but any logical quirks that you might be expecting or hoping to see, Zeke?
The Flute makes your Sphere Zero a very interesting start, because we could easily see Agina or Ice Rod Cave not get orphaned for once.
Two rupees in Link's house and a piece of hearts in the sanctuary, and none of our runners are choosing to use their fast travel immediately. They're all just hoofing it the regular way. PRD Wrong is looking to farm some bombs from the south of the grove. There's a couple of bushes there which have a 50-50 chance to get to drop some bombs, and looks like he got really lucky for his bomb drops because he's got 2 bombs immediately for his trip into Kakariko, whilst Hydra and Windfox are going into the castle, and Tyler is giving us the early lumberjack check.
So, already some fun divergence. Lots of rupees in Tree and the Crab today.
Hello, what was that at lumberjack? I'm going to have another look. That looks like something tasty. I think it was a rod of some kind.
I missed it both on the restream and in the Twitch stream. Already
Looks
down on the screen.
Looks like Hydropower is also going to have a look at the lumberjack. We'll get another chance to see what the item was. I'm pretty sure it was a rod of some kind. Yeah, we've got a lot of pieces of hearts coming in. But the rupee drops are nice. What was the rod? I really can't tell. It's I don't have a high enough resolution on my comm stream to really tell, but it definitely looks like some item of lucrativeness. And speaking of lucrative items, that is a hookshot in a chicken hut. It's got my chances of hookshot pistol, which I really wanted to see for years now.
I have not seen a hookshot pedestal in a long time. Gloves in the well as well.
Hey, we're getting up to the mountain out of logic, but we already have an activated flute, so we can actually get up there regardless and be in logic. Bottle Fender has a rupee refund.
We're at Titan's Mitts. Our mitts were in Well and in Blind's Hut.
So that doesn't unlock anything right now. It's super nice to have early, but it doesn't really do much until we have Dark World access. If we had boots, it would get us to the King's Tomb, and we could actually see some Super Bunny action here potentially. We do have Maya access thanks to having that flute, so obviously we will be in a bunny form there. But you could Super Bunny your way into the Maya shed potentially. Chat is informing us that instead of what the interesting item was, it was actually just the single arrow.
Just a validation arrow?
It doesn't really validate anything. It's +1 for a quiver, but honestly, it's just like, The only thing it counts as is a unique item, and considering having used hint tiles in vases for a long time, unique items aren't really a thing anymore. So,
as someone who's used hint tiles before, it's always a little infuriating to learn there's a unique item in the castle and just find one arrow.
PRD is taking a little look at the desert ledger, not lifting up the item to go super bunnying into my shadows, but it's going to check out Agina first, which is not something you see typically that early on, unless people are doing a slightly unorthodox routing where they would do like the dam into Agina and then do the South Shore afterwards, or they do South Shore first and then dam into Agina.
Usually you only see this early of an Agina check when you have a flute, which we do. How convenient.
That is mirror. So that unlocks a checkable cave, and Piotr Wong actually saved and critted out of the Agina's cave there. You may well flute back there and go check out checkable cave. But he's choosing to go into the back of escape first, which is a very reasonable choice. You've got 3 items here. The checkable cave would take quite a bit of time to check out, but it's definitely a potential location for, say, Moon Pearl or some other tasty item. And Windfox is making use of a hookshot to go check out Death Mountain, which is also a great choice. There's plenty of items to grab up here.
That mirror also gives us Desert Palace access.
Indeed it does, but we may not be able to clear desert depending on that torch, so I wouldn't really think of diving into there until I'd exhausted other options. And I don't know if we've had a map check yet. We do have Eastern Palace. I didn't see a map check, but we do have Eastern Palace marked as a crystal, so that was the Shahaswarala check, presumably. And Desert Palace and Tower of Hera are still a mystery. But Piotr Wong is making that my adventure now.
Playing Dodge the Murder Bird.
Yeah, the Murder Bird is notorious for causing murder. I believe it causes 4 hearts of damage on green male, which would basically be a one-hit kill.
I believe so, yes.
So, Piotr Wong is trying to activate his mirror on the same frame as going into the Maya Shed here, which would activate Super Bunny state for him.
Windfox found a Moon Pearl in Paradox Cave.
Well, that would make Piotr Wong's ventures here completely unnecessary, but yep, that's a nice early Moon Pearl, so we don't have to worry about a Super Bunny trick here. You wouldn't actually find anything in logic here that would, because Super Bunny isn't considered a necessary step anymore. It was in a distant past, which is why Super Bunny Cave got its particular name on Dark Death Mountain, but for Windfox, this is going to be a really good Death Mountain visit because he can clear all the Light World and the Dark World completely in logic and doesn't have to worry about Super Bunny for Super Bunny Cave.
With the exception of the bow that's on that floating island he just saw.
Bow on floating island? I am seeing a bow in the mini Moldom Cave for Tile Assault. So, yeah, that's bow and silver arrows within 10 minutes.
And there's half magic just sitting nicely at the underwater check.
And it's all at the end of Spiral Cave. This is a lot of items coming in. There's a very quick map check on the Tile Assault side. I thought that Desert Palace was a pendant. I didn't catch Tower of Hera.
Desert is boots locked. The big key is on the torch today.
Yeah, hopefully won't be needing to go to the boss to grab anything. And that's an even medallion there. So Tyler started checking out Sahaswara's hut as well, and I'm I'm surprised that nobody else has gone up to Death Mountain yet, having that flute and hookshot in hand. They've all been going up. Pierre de Rong is doing the dam and going into South Shore now, and Hyderpar is just finishing up at South Shore by going over to Ice Rock Cave. Tyler, it looks like he's going to go into Eastern Palace with that bow and finish it off in one run. He's got he can do this dungeon in one go. He doesn't need the lamp to finish it, although it would be required logically. We've got a Dark World check on Windfox's side. It looks like Ice Palace is a green pendant and Hard Rock is a red crystal. And it looks like trackers are filling out the remaining items. It looks like Tower of Hair was also pendant, and Feasttown is quite stereotypically also pendant. So if we're going by stereotypes, Feasttown is probably going to have some logical item for progression there.
It almost always does, doesn't it? And our lamp is in Hookshot Cave.
Okay, so don't have to worry about Dark Rooms now. They would all be in logic anyway. And yeah, it looks like Hyderpar is also going to head over to Eastern Palace. It's definitely not a bad choice doing a Crystal Dungeon as soon as possible, because you've got to do it anyway, and Eastern Palace is one of those dungeons that generally you'll be doing a full loop around, because you don't want to miss out on that item in the big key chest, and if the big key is in that chest anyway, then yeah, it would be full clear required anyway, so you don't save too much time in here.
I think our stun prize is a fairy.
That is an excellent stun prize. So, in case you ever need a quick health top up, the hookshot will stun most things for you. And if it doesn't stun something, it's just going to usually outright kill it anyway, which may drop a health item for you anyway. So, that is an excellent bit of knowledge to have. And yeah, Pierre de Rong is also going to Eastern Palace. So, Hyderpar is actually skipping out on Eastern Palace though, and he's going to do the Death Mountain clear, which is going to be great for him. And Windfox is actually giving us our first look into the Font of Escape. It hasn't dropped anything from that first chest, but I think I would definitely be doing Eastern Palace before Font of Escape, because Font of Escape is literally just items and not a crystal, whereas Eastern Palace is items and a crystal, so even if you find nothing in Eastern Palace, you get some progression towards the end game anyway.
I like this escape play from Windfox, if only because Windfox hasn't gotten the South Shore checks to get their bow.
Yeah, very true. He has not got that bow yet, so... and even then, I'd still would be considering South Shore over Hyrule Castle, because you can get to South Shore really quickly. You can either flute to 7 to be outside for Dam, or go to 8 and go straight to Ice Rock Cave. I think... I don't think Hyrule Castle is a particularly lucrative play, but it's certainly worth gambling on if you're looking to get an edge. Say, like, if there was something here that would, let's see, you might be expecting, like, say, well, a bow would be good here, but we know he's not going to find a bow here. But say if he found a bow here, that would be excellent for him, because it would give him a really good edge. But that was just ours. And it looks like he's going to be checking out Dark Cross now, using the green guard here to Death Warp to the front. Tyler Salt is going to be first of our runners to face off against a Crystal Boss, so 12 minutes Crystal Boss, I quite like that. Should be a fairly quick kill with the bow here. He's got plenty of hours for it. The Armor's Knight scared a little out of sync for him, so this last Armor's Knight is going to get red and angry, but it still doesn't take too much time to finish it. He grabs a big 300 rupees and his first crystal. Hyderpar also going through Spiral Cave to grab that sword. Spiral Cave is quite notorious. A lot of people sometimes decide to skip it and leave it until much, much later, because it just takes a really long time to get through. But you don't want to skip it in this case when it's got your first sword.
It definitely takes us even longer when you don't have Pegasus shoes.
Hydropower going through, I mean, not Hydropower, PRD Wrong going through the Dark Room in Eastern Palace here. It's generally not too hard for that back room, but so you have to kind of be a bit liberal with your hours. The way I would go through that room, it looks like he was doing the same thing, is to go to the right a bit to line up with your Igor, but don't activate it. Spam some hours to clear out the little tentacled beasts in your way. And then activate the Igor, and then just like run south a bit and spam hours some more, because until it actually starts moving, it's completely invincible. But once it is moving, it's vulnerable. So you activate it, you keep it on track, and that should kill it and get you your key. But if things get out of control there, and like, the Igor starts walking off somewhere else because he got knocked off position by one of the tentacled things, then it can get a bit messy in there.
Tyler is also making the escape play, in this case before Death Mountain.
Yeah, this front of escape really didn't yield anything for Windfox, and I do find it unusual that people are going for it before over Death Mountain. So it looks like Hydropower is probably going to be the first of our runners with the silver hours, because that second bow was there on Floating Island. Take a quick look at Turtle Rock first.
Hydropower also does not have a mirror.
Oh yeah, he doesn't have the mirror. Right. Only PRD Wrong has that mirror. Okay. Because that mirror was... where was that mirror again? I think it was in Agina's cave, wasn't it?
Yeah, Agina's cave, and I believe PRD Wong's the only one who's been down in that corner of the map.
Okay, so no silver hours for quite a few people just yet. It's... Yeah, Windfox is now heading over to Eastern Palace to get his crystal. PRD is now heading to Icerock Cave. I imagine he's trying to put off the mountain for as late as possible, because if you're going up the mountain and doing a check there, you really want to have Dark World access, considering you have Titan Smith. So you want to try and find your moon pole somewhere before you do the mountain, so you can do it in one fell swoop. And the moon pole is up there, so he's going to be routed there eventually anyway.
It's true.
But he's been pretty concise with all of his checks before going to Death Mountain. So he's equipping that flute now. I imagine he's going to go to Death Mountain now, because I still think I would go to Death Mountain looking for Moonpile before Hyrule Castle. But that's just me. So he's making use of that hookshot there in the Dark Room to kind of poke his way through the area and work out where he is in relation to the walls and where he can move to. Because there is a pit there that you can fall down if you're not careful, and that will send you straight back to the beginning again, which is pretty annoying.
That pit's gotten me many times before, even with a lamp.
Yeah, ideally, if you're trying to find your way through the Dark Room with some kind of aid, you have a sword and you just hold it out in front of you for the sparkles. But that sword is probably not going to come before the Dark Cave for anybody.
Oh, our book is on the old man.
Absolutely. So that's to get you into desert without having to go into the Dark World. So that's the other means of access, but it is unneeded in this case. It will also let runners check out the ether tablet on the floating mountain. I don't think... Actually, I'm surprised I don't see it on anybody else's track. I'm sure I saw at least one other person do the old man. But,
I believe Hydropower did the old man.
Okay, yeah. I just totally missed a book the first time. So I don't know if he actually checked out the ether tablet yet. I would be surprised if he hadn't, because it is sitting right there. For it takes a bit of time to... Yeah, it would actually take quite a lot of time to get... No, he wouldn't be able to get to it at all, because he doesn't have a mirror. To get to the ether tablet, you either need the hammer to cross across the bridge on the top of the mountain, or you need the mirror to go up the left side. But since only PRD Wrong has that mirror, only he can give us that potential look at the ether tablet. And even then, you can't actually get the ether tablet item until you have the Master Sword.
Even then, it's still probably worth checking it if you're in the area, just so you have the information.
Yeah, if you're going to go up to Spectral Rock and check out that item, it's definitely worth then routing up to the Ether Tablet. And I don't think PRD Wrong actually went up to Spectral Rock, so he's probably looking to do the east side of Death Mountain first and then the left side, because he can just route that in one go and then just save and quit out. Tyler Salt also heading up the mountain now. He's not going to have a look at that Ether Tablet despite having that book, because again, no mirror. Again, it's definitely catching out people here.
My joke earlier, when I was thinking about joining this race to run it, about checking Agina early with the flute would have paid off.
Oh, definitely. Definitely in this case. But that said, the silver arrows don't do anything by themselves. They're not progress. They're just simply a really, really nice item to have, especially early on, because they're just like one-shots everything, most of everything anyway. And you can't get it to the Ether. You can't get the Ether Tablet item, so it's not strictly progress yet. So the mirror doesn't really unlock that, but it would unlock Checkerboard Cave. And since we have Dark World access thanks to having those Mitts and Moonpearl, it would unlock all the other Dark World checks, like the K45 or the Graveyard Ledge. I think the book may send some people over to check out Desert. Especially not having that mirror. They think they can't check out Desert yet, so we'll go check it out. We're having that book in hand, and they would go out of Desert afterwards to go get Agina, and hey, there's your mirror. So I don't think it's going to catch too many people out. But it's definitely beneficial for PRD Wrong to have grabbed it so early. So when Fox is giving us our first look into the Dark World proper, nothing in a chess game for him. Feasttown is a pendant, which is unfortunate, and like I mentioned, a huge stereotype, so maybe you'll have a hammer in here, but considering Feasttown pendant without hammer, you may have an item in a big chest that you can't get to, and that just feels super bad to leave behind. So considering you've got a lot of overworld available to you, I don't think anybody will be diving into Feasttown, because you can get to that pretty quickly thanks to having that flute.
It's true. As often as I've seen progression in Pendant Thieves Town, it feels terrible to have to do it anyways.
So PRD has his silver hours, probably feeling really good about having that, and he's going to grab his first sword here in Spiral Cave. Looks like Mizumaya was a Quake medallion to get in, so that Ether medallion doesn't do anything just yet, but Ether was a required medallion for Turtle Rock.
So conveniently, they reversed their vanilla entrance requirements.
That's actually quite disappointing. I always appreciate a good bird toss in outside of my entrance, but you can't Quake the bird. Quake doesn't work on flying enemies.
It is disappointing. It also raises the scientific question of how does an earthquake stop a rainstorm?
You could shake the tectonic plates up enough that you get shifted to an entire part of the world where it isn't storming, perhaps? But I don't think Hyrule works that way.
Me either.
And we are getting the sub 30-minute blacksmith chain here from Windfox. Although he's wiggling about a bit and he's deciding he's going to do a bit of a world tour for the blacksmith first.
It's field trip time for Jeremiah.
Yeah, he probably thought he had that mirror to go hand in the blacksmith immediately, and he doesn't because that mirror is over in Agina. So kind of rooted north a bit, thought, hang on, something's missing here. And now it's just going to do the world tour instead. Got some bombs from Stumpy. Hexodus in chat, I completely agree. Logic doesn't play much part in 1990s games.
Especially 1990s fantasy games. Right, now we get to play my favorite game of Rate That Hype Cave.
Yeah, there's 5 items in here. We could be grabbing a hammer in here, which would be particularly hype, but we're starting off with 20 rupees, 5 rupees, getting worse and worse, piece of heart, definitely getting worse, a full heart container, getting slightly better, and a fire rod. Okay, but that fire rod is going to be necessary because both skull woods and turtle rock are crystals, so that is a nice fire rod.
I'll give that a 5 out of 10 just for the fire rod.
Yeah, it makes Skullwoods a particularly nice play now because that is a crystal. You can full clear it, and you've got half magic to make from Morphula a little bit easy. So I'd definitely be heading up there pretty soon.
You also have a flute and at least 1 bottle, so you could get a potion super easily if you need to.
In fact, I think that first bottle was actually a red potion inside to begin with, so you've already got that safety.
And Hydropower is diving this Pendant Thieves Town, as is PRD Wong.
Yeah, it's not a bad choice to dive the first 4 if you're just hunting for items. So some people treat it as extended overworld. You probably don't want to be diving the back at all, considering no hammer and it's a pendant. Maybe somebody will do gamble on it, but I think it's quite unlikely at this point in time.
Unfortunately for the runners, all 4 of the dungeon items were in the front.
Hydropower doesn't want any part of that. He's taking the floor to the face and leaving.
And Tyler Salt is diving the front of Skull Woods, putting that bombos from Escape to good use here.
Yeah, if you've got some item that can one-shot the Gibdos in here, it's just excellent. And oftentimes you would just use the fire rod for that. If you were heading over to the back of Skull Woods, but you were checking out this middle portion here, you could just use the fire rod for that. But almost works too. That's why I put it to use.
And PRD Wong's going in the back of Thieves Town.
Windfox has just grabbed his mirror from Magina's cave. Probably wishing he had it a bit sooner, but he's going to be able to check out Checkerboard Cave here, which I don't think PRD Wong did yet. He grabbed that mirror and just left Maya. Takes a Murderdactyl to the face, but because he's on blue mail, he only takes 2 hearts of damage. And Hydropower also going to be taking the fog for a little tour here, so he's going to get that fire rod from Hype Cave. And PRD is actually doing the back of Thieves Town. It is gutsy. Definitely gutsy.
I mean, if you complete it, you're guaranteed 3 of the 4 items. So it's not the worst play. But definitely takes some guts when there's the South Dark World also in play.
And it's just bombs from that first chest in the attic, so it's not paying off for him just yet. And that big chest is probably going to be taunting him for a long time. So if Blind doesn't actually cough up anything, it's just going to be a fair bit of time loss for him.
And Hydropower is picking up the Hype Cave, so 1 more fire rod acquired. Windfox is finding out that yes, they're going to need Pegasus boots to pick up their big key today.
Yeah, so boots lock desert, and it is our only light world crystal, so boots are mandatory in the seed. So whilst we have the flute for getting around fast, we are going to need the other gotta go fast item.
And another case where it doesn't pay off in the back of Thieves Town. More bombs in Blind Cell.
Hello. So PRD Wong has glitched out the screen on Blind in some way. I think he mirrored on the same frame as activating the boss, which is just made it all go all pixelated here. I've never seen this before. I've seen like acid blind where you do something. I forget how it works, but you do something and it makes the whole room go a weird shade of yellow. But a very pixelated blind kill for PRD wrong.
Which unfortunately means we didn't get to read the joke. And only 20 rupees on the drop, so the Back of Thieves was a unfortunate lack of items.
Yeah, I did. I was about to check if he had that small key, because if the small key was locked inside a big chest, then you can leave it. Oh dear.
Excuse me. That is. I can't see. Unfortunately for the runners, the small key, along with every dungeon item, was in the front of Thieves today.
How would you fix this? Would mirroring into the light world to go back to the dark world fix this, or is this just going to be messed up until he restarts this game? Oh no, this is going to be one awful digging game for him.
What? Windfox is taking that fire rod to Skullwoods, and Hydropower is going to go dig the front of Escape. However, we do know that at least Bombos is in there, and while not required, it is a convenient item for Ice Palace, if they have to dive that. I wouldn't push that on anybody.
Well, having that mirror POD is going to be able to hand in his blacksmith immediately instead of taking him for a tour, so maybe the mirror here will fix this weird pixelation effect. But, oh my.
Nope.
Nope. I think it's more. I think it must have been like he activated the map when he was activating blind, because if it was activating mirror, it wouldn't normally cause a pixelation effect. That would just do the sort of like fade out and put you at front again, I think. But this is this is.
I did like the pixelated blacksmith set. That actually looked okay. PRD Wong, rather than take the blacksmith on a world tour, will take the purple chest on a world tour instead.
Yeah, this is a quite reasonable choice, because once you've taken it over the Hype Cave and got your firewall there, you just loop around to the south a bit, or mirror and Flute over to the south. I think that would actually be quicker, and then hand it in.
Depends on if you want to pick up the information on a Bombos tablet en route as well.
So Windfox on his way to Morphin now. Taking care of the Gipters with firewall shots, he's got plenty of magic to play around with, having no half magic. And he's on about half of his health left, so he could choose to powder the bunny beam there and get some health back, but he's just continuing on regardless. So he's got to play a little carefully with his health. The spikes in the room will do full damage even on Blue Mail. Morphin himself and his ring beams will do reduced damage. But
based on
sorry.
what happened on Tyler's screen earlier, I'm going to say that bottle had a fairy in it.
Also on Tyler Salt's side, I can see he has a small key, so there is an item in the big chest, and we can't get to it. That is not nice. Not nice at all. Purple chest is an ice rod. Okay, so we're not going to have to hunt the ice rod for Turtle Rock this seed. I do like that.
And here's that check on... Oh, where did we get a Master Sword?
That is a Cane of Samaya on Bombers. Okay, so as soon as we... I think that's literally... we can clear Turtle Rock now, actually. But PRD can't do that yet because he doesn't have that fire rod from Hype Cave.
She's going over that way right now.
Yeah.
Chat says K45.
Must have been in... K45. That would make sense. I haven't been looking at that screen much now because that screen hurts my eyes with all the warping it does as you're moving around. I mean, it's terrible. But I probably should pay more attention to it because, yeah, that is a Master Sword. And that unlocked a Cane Samai for POD. So everything is coming up really nicely for him with his rooting.
Chat reminds us that before they can do Turtle Rock, they do need a hammer.
Ah, yeah, the hammer, of course. I always forget that hammer.
I can't with the screen.
Yeah, the acid blind glitch I mentioned, where your screen turns all funny shade of yellow, I think is done by activating a medallion at the same time as starting the blind fight, but this is something else entirely. Again, on starting the same frame as the blind fight. And he's activating big flippers here. Yeah.
Oh, it's not any bit. It's even worse when you're moving in the water.
Yeah, because it's now increasingly difficult to tell where the shallow part of the water is. He's actually using this to get to the east side of the Dark World, which is definitely a play. So this east side is in logic right now because he has that Master Sword and the lamp. So that means that he can go to Aga 1 and get access to the east side of the Dark World this way without the flippers or the hammer. So potentially flippers or hammer could be over here. Tracker Red Hammer says he thinks that the flippers were in the library first. So if they are in the library, then we're going to need boots for that. But again, boots could also be on this side of the world. It is fully in logic. And if you can do that splash deletion, you can skip out on whole Aga 1 clear.
I believe the flippers were not the library. Because I believe the library was 3 bombs.
Oh my, that menu screen is also pixelated.
Help me. Oh, PRD Wong is giving us the world's latest uncle check. I have never seen an uncle check get put off to 36 minutes.
Okay, so diving into a hole for PRD Wong doesn't fix it. I literally think he has to do a save and crit now.
I think he does too. And unfortunately, Mir and Flute mean he really doesn't have to. Windfox is doing fake flipper in the light world to get us to the hobo check.
Yeah, it's a fair choice. You've got that moon pole there to also get items in the waterfall cave, and he's got loads and loads of rubies for King Zora, so he could also pay off King Zora. He wouldn't be able to grab the item on Zora Ledge without setting up order walking, and I don't think he'd be able to set up order walking without having the boots. So that item on the ledge will not be possible to get by sequence breaking just yet, but he will be able to see it. Hydropower also finishing off Mothler for his second crystal.
Oh, the Dark Cross is awful.
You're really fumbling your way through the unknown here. That was a small shield in Dark Cross. So yeah, Hydropower did grab it earlier, and so did Windfox. In Waterfall Cave, we have a big heart and 20 rupees, and Windfox is going to throw in his bottle for a free refill. It is a blue potion. Very nice.
Free blue potions. That's always a pleasant surprise. Meanwhile, we get to go visit everyone's favorite con artist, Fish. Only a heart container on Zora Ledge. Oh, mirroring in the dungeon fixed it.
There we go. Tyler digging up 20 rupees, and Windfox also getting 20 rupees from King Zora. That's none of us paying out. Well, technically they paid out 20 rupees, but yeah.
And there's the shovel. Skullwoods has a shovel.
Which we just saw on Tyler's Salt side was 20 rupees.
Oh, was that where the 20 rupees he got was? My bad. I wasn't paying attention to that corner yet.
Windfox heading back into West Dark World, you may be seeing a Graveyard Ledge check here, and also a King's... Well, not King's Tomb, because you need a boost for that, but a Graveyard Ledge at the very least.
And possibly check on...
He's snooping south now, actually, so if he's going into Feastown, he is going into Feastown, yeah.
And then he might actually take this into Purple Chest going south, because I don't think he's done Purple Chest check.
Oh, I just missed Bumper Ledge on the Hydropass side. Did you catch that?
No, I did not.
Unfortunate.
If one of our trackers caught that, could they speak up? Or chat?
Yeah, shout outs to our trackers, by the way. Red Armor and Mind of Me doing an excellent job today. And considering our runners have been going in completely different directions throughout the whole race and really sending me for a loop, they've been doing a really good job at keeping us up to date with everything our runners have been finding.
That Flute really made early routing a fun spectacle, didn't it?
It wasn't just early Flute, it was early Dark World access too. You didn't see like bow leading to book and then mirror so that you would do your dungeons in sequence or anything like that. So nope, you get your Dark World access pretty quickly, and also that's Dark World access with Titans-Smith, so you have a lot available to you.
Especially when your actual Dark World access is on Death Mountain, and most people routed Kakariko first, so you got Death Mountain Dark World access early.
Now, PRD is doing the back of Skullwoods, and I'm surprised he didn't push that sequence break. Well, not sequence break, but the East Dark World. Well, it's kind of a sequence break, because you would have to do Aggro 1 normally, but skipping out Aggro 1 and getting onto the East Dark World a little early, I'm surprised he actually didn't push that and go into Catfish, or at least to check out a little bit of Passive Darkness, because Hammer could potentially be in Passive Darkness itself. This is a vanilla game location.
Part of it was he took his trip to... He mirrored off Pyramid and went into Hyrule Castle.
Right, but he has a mirror portal saved. He could have gone back into Dark World from there and continued doing that, but he's choosing to go for the Crystal instead.
And Hydropower and Tyler Slaughter both have their mirrors shortly. Tyler Slaughter finding out nothing's in Checkerboard Cave.
Yeah, just that piece of heart. So no moon pearls in there. Sometimes you can get a moon pearl in there and invert it for your Dark World access, or occasionally just the... if you have the Flute in the midst early, and you can't... And, well... Even in here with regular settings, you can get to your moon pearl in there. It is possible, but not this case.
Our Mind of Me says that PRD1 could just have another splash delete going from Graveyard Ledge to get back to East Dark World.
He absolutely could, yeah. Yeah, he's just going for other checks that he knows that he can do. Like, say, he can go... well, he can't get into Maya because he needs Craig Medallion for that, but he knows he's got this Checkerboard Cave open to him. And
we're getting a pedestal check.
Okay. It's Cascash. So, no boots or hammer there. So I don't think it could be the hammer anyway, because, yeah, Ice Palace. Yeah, you don't need the hammer in Ice Palace at all until it's time to go kill Coldstare, and there's just a couple of hammer blocks blocking your way. And if you wanted to go check out the attic, then you would also need a hammer for that, at least to activate the switch. But with the Icebreaker now, and with us having Kane of Samari, we could just shortcut our way to there. So it wouldn't be in logic, but you could do that. But Coldstare, no, you're not getting to him without a hammer. So, but I am betting on Hammer being buried in a dungeon at this point. Paths of Darkness or Ice Paths, just to taunt our runners.
I almost thought that Hydropower ran into the pink puffball.
If you run into that little Kirby-looking thing in the vanilla game, you get a really long text sequence, and in Randomizer, I think you get an even longer text sequence just to penalize you for your clumsy movement. That
It
is a HUD container on
very
each of the tablets.
long text box.
And yeah, we're getting our first look into Hero now, so we can full clear this. We have got the lamp for in case we need to get a key from the small key from the basement, but we're having that hook shot. We could also just Hero pot our way to the top to save some time. But if there was an item in the basement, you still have access to that thanks to having the lamp or fire rod. And looks like that basement is locked for now. Anyway, so Hydropower is actually just going to go up the regular way. If you're not too comfortable with doing Hero pot, then it's usually better to just go up the regular way anyway. I believe it's only really a time save you do Hero pot if you can get it in like just about 2 or 3 tries at most.
Yeah. And as someone who's not comfortable with it, I'm glad to see somebody else isn't. And Pierre Wong's giving us that graveyard ledge check. And there's our Quake. And both items were available without the basement. That is a relief.
So Hydropower isn't going to do Moldorm for the pendant because it's not even green pendant, and luckily Pedestal is dead, so he's never going to have to do Moldorm. The blue cane is nice because he could go do Spy Cave after doing his Death Mountain stuff here.
I believe his Death Mountain stuff is pick up his silver arrows.
Yeah, because he's already been up here to get his moon pearl. He wouldn't have been able to do his other Dark World checks without having the moon pearl. So yeah. Oh yeah, no hammer. I keep forgetting about that.
That Quake does give us access to Misery Mire.
It does. And Tylersalt's giving us a look at Magic Bat thanks to having that powder and mirror, and it's just a piece of heart. Yeah, I do keep forgetting about hammer for the for stuff like Turtle Rock and Spike Cave. It is a big problem of mine. I'll go into somewhere where I think I don't need a hammer, and oops, you need a hammer. Hammer go mode is never particularly pleasant. But,
unfortunately, I've had the pleasure of trying to Spike Cave, getting all the way to the block and realizing I don't have a glove. I have done that in my life.
We aren't quite in hammer go mode just yet. We are going to need boots and flippers still. Yes, I'm surprised Hydropower is actually trudging all the way back here just to get silver arrows. It is not a particularly well, it's not a really quick thing for him to grab. And although silver arrows are really
surprised, given he just got access to Misery Mire, and silvers will make that Vitreous fight much easier.
I suppose, yeah. If you have silver arrows for Fitty, then it is a lot easier. But he also got that blue cane, and with the blue cane, he could just he can't do dashes, but he could do. I think actually it would be quite tricky because the blue cane, of course, would do damage to little eyeballs, and your Fighter Sword range isn't quite as good as it could be. So you would have trouble actually hitting the little fitty eyeballs with just spamming the sword at them through your invincibility. So yeah, I think you are right. Getting silver arrows makes sense here.
Beardy Wong unfortunately finding Quake as his medallion to need there. As Hydropower is our first runner into Misery Mire. And Windfox shows us that... Oh no! Windfox just got stuck in the pot with trying to Hero pot.
Right, and because he's constantly moving, I believe that means he can't use his mirror, so he couldn't get out of that without a save and create. Is that correct?
I believe so. Chat could correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not familiar with the technicalities on Hero pot, I know we've got some people who are more experienced in glitches than I am in chat, so they can probably help us there.
So Hydropower saves himself time by not going for Hairpot, and Windfox costs himself time by going for Hairpot.
And there's our boots in Misery Mire.
So it's not a God Mire, but considering you find boots in the God chest anyway, I like that. I definitely like that.
Nope, it's still pretty much a God Mire.
Yeah, if you get those epic key down there, it's still a God Mire. But hey, you have boots now. It makes checking out the rest of the dungeon for items quite a bit quicker.
If I were found that there, I'd almost go straight for Vitreous.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad choice. If you go to Vitreous and you find like your remaining dungeon item there, you don't have to bother with doing like the cutscene chest or anything like that. So we may see Hydropower do that. He is going to do a couple of the faster checks here, like say the crystal block chest. And I think he may also go for two. I think it's the map chest on the left side. But after that, he may just choose to take the doors and go straight to Vitreous. It's definitely a better choice than going for the cutscene, because if you don't have your remaining dungeon item and you want to go for it, you can just do the cutscene chest after Vitreous.
And there's our other dungeon item in...
He's leaving.
He doesn't have his red cane.
Ah, yes. Yeah, he only has blue cane.
I forgot about that. But the boots means he can go and finish the desert.
Indeed. So he's probably feeling not too bad about getting those boots either way. And getting both dungeon items in Misery Mire without spending too much time in there, that's pretty good. It means the double dip of Mire isn't really going to cost him too much time. So he's got to go over to Desert Palace now, and then he's got to head over to K45 sometime to get his some Mire, so that he could then finish Misery Mire. That would also get him into Turtle Rock later when we find a Hammer Summer, which is probably deep in Portal. Or Ice Palace.
Pod and Ice Palace would be mean. Or Hammer and Ice Palace. Now that PRD Wong has his Quake, he will make his trip into Misery Mire, and he has his Samaria, so he'll probably finish this in one go.
Yeah, his routing is really paying off for him today. Just that little early Agina for him has just led to so many other things that have benefited him greatly. Windfox also heading into Misery Mire, also without a Samaria. Nobody has that Samaria, but everybody has a mirror. That is unfortunate.
And part of that is just PRD Wong had that mirror going into the South Darkworld checks.
Ooh, doesn't quite get the third Lammerless on the second cycle. But takes out the first two Lammerlai in just one silver hour. What is the singular of a Lammerless?
Well, what is the plural of a Landmola?
Anyway, he gets his third crystal. Unfortunately, it's not Samaria. It's not Misery Mire, so PRD Wong will be getting his third crystal from here. He'll also be getting his boots, and then we'll be getting his fourth crystal after that. So hopefully for Hydropower, it doesn't take him too long to get that Kame Samara from K45, but he's going to finish off his desert checks first.
Which just leaves the question, where's that hammer?
So I think rather than Vanilla Hammer being the trolliest location for it, I think the trolliest location for it would be if we find Flipper somewhere, because Hammer can be in the in the second chest of Swamp Palace, and it's awful there, but it can pop up there.
Why is the Swamp Palace the most annoying place to find items? Because nothing is more infuriating than Vanilla Hookshot. Nothing.
Yeah, Swamp Pass is really nice for items if you can clear the dungeon and it's not a pendant. Otherwise, it is pretty rotten. But it has got a lot of items in there, and so does Palace of Darkness. I do wonder when we'll start seeing dives into them.
Hydropower is setting up a water walk.
And Pierre Wrong sniping all of those little 3D eyeballs in cricket order. And then 2 arrows to the big eyeball, and down goes Vitreous.
Really, silver arrows make that fight completely trivial.
Hydropide are kind of doing a loop around the Lake Hylia Island there for some reason, and then going into the whirlpool.
He was checking the Hylia Island.
Yeah, I would just go left and up and then back down again. But do a loop, why not?
You're on Restream. Make it cool looking.
Tyler Sold heading over to North Dark World, probably going to be checking out Graveyard Ledge pretty shortly, and I don't think there was anything on Graveyard Ledge, but that means he may be checking out K45 soon for his Cane of Samaya, if he's thinking about his mirror checks. I'm fairly sure Hydropower picked up Ether from Desert. He was definitely back in there grabbing items. It was in that where you would normally find, I think it's the map in the vanilla game, the item in the exact middle at the top. Tracker 8 input. The tracker is a hungry beast. It can eat inputs like that. But yeah, he did pick up his Ether medallion.
We're feeding tracker.
Shout out to our trackers again, and also throw them some food. But yeah, Red Amber and Mud Me once again doing a really good job. Tracker software can be a bit of a pain at times, but they are on top of things, and if tracker eats an input, they try again, and there's a hammer
behind
in Bone Crocs.
Boots.
Okay, Hydropower, you just gotta get your K of Samaya from K45 now, and this isn't K45, this is Palace of Darkness, so a lot of items here. He still needs to grab Flippers, so Flippers could be in here, so this is fine. But he's gotta get that Samaya sometime.
Hammer does say go straight to pod, in my opinion.
I mean, there's so much stuff in pod you can grab. It's a really lucrative dungeon. Hydropower doesn't really need that many items for go mode. He needs to get those Flippers, Cane of Samaya, and a second sword. But that's just it.
That does finally mean we don't have to do Aghanim.
Yes, Agar 1 is skipped by finding a hammer in Bolcrox. Tyler Sock grabs his Master Sword from K45, so now he's got to go to Bomber's Tablet to grab that cane. And considering he's really close to Bomber's Tablet, I imagine he'll probably just do that immediately. So PRD Wrong definitely has the advantage here, but other runners really aren't far behind. I am curious why Tyler Salt decided to leave Skull Woods and not finish it off, because he did grab that shovel from Skull Woods. That was just in the fun portion, but he did not actually go and kill Mothula. Maybe he just didn't feel comfortable with it, with his loadout.
I believe he did Skullwood's front before he did Hype Cave.
Right, that would make sense. He would have no firewall to get to the back. Anyway, he's second round to grab a cane.
And PRD Wong will find his hammer.
Yeah, it's definitely looking like PRD Wrong has a significant advantage here. But he's not heading to pod just yet. He's going to go do King's Tomb first, since he's right in the area. And he's dashing out. We'll see if he mirrors into Duck where he uses his... Yeah, he's going to Flute from here. Let's see where he goes. Probably Palace of Darkness. Yeah.
I like the Palace of Darkness play before the Ice Rod play. Or the Ice Palace play. And especially you can't, before the Turtle Rock play.
Yeah, you can't even get to Ice Palace logically right now because you don't have the flippers. So you have to fake flip into there to get inside.
I don't think that would stop PRD Wong.
But PRD Wong only needs the flippers now, so he can't find his flippers in Ice Palace. There's no reason for him to ever go over there now. At all.
Good point. I forgot that flippers are the only thing we need.
So there's a really good chance that they will be here in the Palace of Darkness, because we have seen all of Tower of Hera, and that was nothing. We can't get into Swamp because that is locked by flippers. Oh, we've had Turtle Rock open for we have Turtle Rock open now. It could be in Turtle Rock. I was about to say for ages, but of course we needed a hammer for that, and the hammer was in Bonk Rocks. So hammer and Bonk Rocks. So you can get into Turtle Rock. And Bonk Rocks was locked by Boots, which was in Mizumaya. Mizumaya was locked by the Quake Medallion. And the Quake Medallion was in... Where was that again?
Tower of Hera.
Tower of Hera, right. So a fair few steps to get into
which was blocked by that mirror on a game, and there's our flippers.
Hey, yep. So we're in no mode now, and PRD Wong is probably going to be in go mode pretty shortly.
But yeah, that mirror at Agena was the start of our logic blocks.
Yeah, unfortunately for Tyler Salt, he's still got to head over to K45, and that's starting to look a little out of the way for him now. So he's got to get it back into the Dark World from south of Link's House would be the closest location, and then dash all the way over there. That's about a minute's investment to get to K45. It's not that great for him. But he's got to do it, because there's absolutely no way he would get into Turtle Rock or Swamp. But he could get into Swamp Palace now and check that for the cane, but he wouldn't find it in there. So this could actually be really bad for Hydropower. He had really better do K45 and Bomber's Tablet before going to Swamp Palace. If he does Swamp Palace first, he's going to be at a huge disadvantage.
Unless he finds a sword there.
So,
well, be a minor disadvantage. If he found another sword in Swamp Palace, he'd be able to go straight to Bombos.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course, he can't grab the Bombos item because he doesn't have a sword. Where was PRD Wong's second sword?
K45.
Oh yeah. So K45, so he can go get the Cane Smite, right. Still, clearing out the whole of Swamp Palace and maybe finding a sword in somewhere like left side or the back, it's not great, because you're still going to be missing out on that Tempered Sword, because Hydropower could then go to Bomber's Tablet immediately and grab the Cane of Smite and be in go mode. And there would be no reason for him to ever go to K45, so he'd miss out on a third sword. Whereas if somebody's going into Swamp Palace after having the Master Sword ready, and a third sword is in a really convenient location, like say Waterfall Chest or the Diver Down chests or somewhere else along the way, then you have a third sword there available to you really easily that's for other runners that Hydropower could potentially miss out on. So it's definitely best for him to go to K45 before Swamp.
We've got simultaneous boss fights on screen right now.
Yeah, and PRD Wong does have his go mode flippers now, immediately mirrored out, and is on his way to Helmsol King.
And one silver arrow into the Jewel of the King brings him down. Silver arrows do an absolutely ridiculous amount of damage.
And being stuck on Master Sword isn't totally bad for Ganon since you have silver arrows. It means that you spend quite a bit of time in the early phases, but it makes the longest phase, the last phase, much, much quicker. because you don't have to worry about doing spins for that. You have to do your spin to get Ganon into his blue stun portion, but then you can fire silver arrows at him to do real damage rather than have to use, I think it's 24 spins to take him out.
24, yes.
Particularly grueling, and that is the longest part of doing a Master Sword Ganon fight. So, but PRD wrong having a silver arrows, everybody pretty much knowing where the silver arrows are, will not be having too much trouble with Ganon, if they never find a third sword. Windfox grabs his flippers and is continuing on in pod because he is far, far away from go mode right now.
Where was the ice rod that Windfox doesn't have it?
It was purple chest, yeah, purple chest.
Oh.
It's not that bad. You have to go back into Dark World to grab it.
I think I just saw it on.
You can just flute
Oh, he
over
does
there.
have it.
Yeah, I could swear he had done it. Most of the runners have done purple chest right after blacksmith. Okay, yeah, he does have it.
I just barely caught in the split screen of his menu.
So he's grabbed his flippers from the back of Powers of Darkness, so he only needs to Cane Samai. So again, he's missing out on the Master Sword from K45, leading to a Cane Samai on Bombers. And whilst I was talking about Windfox, Hydropad did go to K45 to grab his Master Sword, so he is going to get that Cane Samai, and he is going to be in go mode. Fortunately, lagging behind PRD Wrong here because of PRD Wrong having superior routing. That mirror early on just helped him so much.
It usually does. Early mirrors a mate. What? You can powder the old woman? That is cruel.
Yeah, if I remember, you can powder her in the vanilla game and get I think it's a fairy. I wasn't actually looking at his screen, but you can powder her and she turns into something. It's actually there in the vanilla game. It's not like a weird randomizer thing.
It's still cruel.
But what did she turn into? If it was a fairy, I could understand PRD Wrong going for that.
I believe it was a fairy. But
Hydropire is going to be our first one in Swamp, but he's still lacking that Museum Maya clear. He's got to go back into Maya quickly, and that's going to be a 2 to 3 minutes time for him. He's got that big key, so he can head straight to the back and clear it, and he's got Sylphas for Fituous, so that won't take too long, but it is going to put him a couple minutes behind PRD Wrong.
luckily, though, Swamp Palace is one of the easiest go mode dungeons there is.
Yeah, I don't think you'll be seeing anybody take too much time out of their route to go try and grab a third sword. You definitely won't see anyone go to the left side. You may see somebody maybe go to the compass chest in the south, but I think that's still unlikely.
That depends. With the exception of Windfox might check left side, depending on where he goes next.
Oh, he takes a death to Helmsall, does he? Nope, he's dead.
Oof. That is a pretty big time loss.
Yeah, the worst thing about Helmsall is it takes time to get back to him. A lot of fun is that they can go...
With a hammer, fighter sword to get past the turtles is not pleasant.
Hydropower actually going for the regular place a block on the switch and then drain the water rather than going for diver down.
We haven't seen a hydropower do that many of these dungeon time save glitches, so maybe he's not comfortable with them.
We see PRD is going for the diver down here, so he's going to place a Samurai block, use the dive down to put himself in the right place so that the block will clip him into jumping into the water, but he can open a chest like that, doesn't find a sword, so nothing there. That would benefit hydropower. Opening up the waterfall chest, 10 arrows. Yeah, so no swords popping up in on the way for PRD, Wrong, or Hydropower. So if Hydropower hadn't gone to K45 before Swab, he would be in trouble because he'd probably be full clearing it to try and grab a sword or a Samaya. But he's safe. And Hydropower just going for slashes on the little R guy here. You can potentially hold out your sword and hookshot to little R guy off him and then do a spin to take them all out, but it's a little bit tricky and honestly just it doesn't really cost you that much more time just to slash at the R guy one by one as you pull them off. So he gets his 5th crystal and he's probably going to be heading over to Mizumai after this, whilst PRD Wrong is on the boss fight himself.
And showing off the exact strategy you just told us about.
Yes. And after this, he will be heading up to Turtle Rock.
Unfortunately, that double fire rod spin does not result in a kill when you only have Master Sword.
I just noticed that Windfox was using a lot of arrows to kill Hammersword there. He has not picked up his silver arrows from the mirror ledge on Death Mountain.
He's not made another trip back up mountain, and
Yeah.
I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to go up there without... Actually, I don't think it's worth going up there again until you go to Turtle Rock.
Well, you were talking about Vitreous, and you could go up there to get silver arrows for Vitreous.
But the trip was actually made a little easier to do when you had already been up there to get Tower of Hera. Windfox have to go up directly just to get silver arrows.
PRD Wrong is really just memeing at this point.
What in the world?
PRD, you have a huge time advantage. You gotta stop memeing, man. This is me costing you time. Yeah, he's heading up to Turtle Rock now, and you can't save too much time in a go mode Turtle Rock, so you'll be seeing most of the items in there. If there's a Tempered Sword and Laser Bridge, he could potentially miss out on that, but that's about it, really.
We probably won't see Mimic Cave either.
Hydropower is back in Maya. He's got to go all the way back to Vitreous and go take him out, because he couldn't go there before without having that cane.
About the only thing I can see a runner picking up out of the Death Mountain area in this go mode situation is if Tyler Salt or Windfox stop to pick up their silver arrows, which I would. At the moment, we are looking at Master Sword Ganon.
Windfox is taking the Swamp Palace dive without having gone to K45, so this could be a full swamp clear potentially coming up for him, and this is unfortunate.
That is something the flippers do lead you to.
Tyler Salt, meanwhile, is going to get his flippers from the back of Poddy, and he himself will be in go mode too.
Only he's down a Skullwoods clear compared to our lead runners here.
Yes, Skullwoods and Desert Palace, but neither of those take too long, but it's a fair bit of time investment either way. And of course, he is going to be clearing out quite a lot of Paths of Darkness here to get those flippers.
The dungeon did not want Windfox to hammer dash through those pots. Every time he tried, he either ate a bubble or he ate a fireball. And Hydropower finishes off Misery Mire and we'll be going up to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, he's going to be about 2 minutes behind PRD here going into Turtle Rock. So not the biggest amount of time behind. He could potentially catch it up depending on Ganon's tower or potentially execution, but PRD has been showing some really good execution here, so I think it's going to be difficult for Hydropower to make up the difference based on execution. But Ganon's tower routing, maybe.
Meanwhile, Windfox checking the lower checks. He's going to be checking all of our checks here in Swamp Palace, hoping to find that red cane and a sword.
Yeah, this is unfortunate for him. So if he knows, actually he's going to go straight to Argus. He took the check I was talking about, going for the compass chest before going to Argus, hoping for a sword or something. But unfortunately, in this case, he's also hoping for a cane. So I imagine after Argus, he will be heading over to the left side.
Which means he'll also get checked the big chest, since the key for that chest is on Argus. And Hydropower is opening up Turtle Rock.
Yeah, he's just a little over 2 minutes behind PRD Wrong here. Because PRD Wrong headed in at about 1:12:40. Now, based on his key count, I don't believe PRD actually needs to go check out the lava chest. So he should be good to go for finishing up the dungeon. I think it's a very, very small chance that he can have a one small key that he needs to actually finish the dungeon in that lava chest. It's a really, really small chance, but it is possible. But it's such a low chance that most people would just gamble that it's not there.
Well, if you're stealing the key, you don't need that one out of the lava chest. The one I'm concerned about is that big chest. Because we could see one key in the lava chest and a key in the big chest, which would be unfortunate.
I think was I thinking of the big key there? I think I probably was. Okay, yeah, I was just thinking of the big chest. So if PRD doesn't find a small key here, and it's very, very likely he will find a small key here, but if he doesn't, he would have to backtrack for the big chest, which would be unfortunate, but there's that small key. And he's checking out the remaining chests, hoping to get a sword.
I don't blame him.
Takes a couple tries to get that hard hat beetle off the edge, and there's just a heart container in the last chest.
Given that we're only on 10 hearts, that heart container isn't the worst thing to find. Unfortunately, the mini Helmosaur just got in the way of that Samaria block.
Yeah, they do that. Windfox takes down Vitreous, gets his big key. Is probably going to be heading back into the dungeon after this, which is pretty gross. Or he could choose to take the spicy play of leaving and going straight to K45, which will get him his Master Sword leading into Kane. But I don't think he'll do that.
Not with 2 items potentially accessible. I don't remember if we found Compass here.
Yeah, I haven't been paying attention to the items in Swamp Palace apart from if there's a sword popping up, and I haven't seen a sword. I think the compass was actually in that south chest.
And we found the map, so there are 3 items between big chest and left side. Oh, compass has not been found.
Okay, no compass. Okay, I was wrong. There's 20 rupees in the big chest.
Unfortunately, doing this last does mean we have to go through the center of the... We have to go through the vanilla way.
The chat is mentioning that laser bridge wasn't necessary, and it looks like Hydropower does have an extra key here, so it means that he went to the big chest and there was a key inside that.
And that's 7 crystals for PRD Wong, who will be heading the Gans Tower.
So if you are really, really quick on the draw here, please get some guesses in chat for where in Big Gans Tower you think the big key will be. I'm going to go for my regular guess of 19.
I'll go with 13, because that usually puts it in, depending on the route, that puts it either in rando room or right about DM's room on a full right route. But I like putting it there in one of those four item rooms. Oh, this one puts
First
it in vanilla big key if you do. Okay.
First item on the torch is a compass, so Bob lives today.
Viva Bob.
I think it's quite likely that POD is going to go for Dark Magician here. Checking out the 4 items in here, he's going to get a key. Yep, there's a big key. Number 3.
That is not good for hydropower, because now we're going to see going straight up the climb.
Yep. Definitely not going to go right side for any swords. We are going straight for the climb. And yeah, if hydropower chooses to go right first, he could really be losing time on his Ganon style routing here. You got to go straight left and get that key immediately.
The only advantage I can see is if he goes Hope Room left and there's a sword.
I can tell you where one sword is, and that is the one that Windfox just grabbed on left side swamp. He's heading over to Bomber's tablet now. So Windfox is going to be in go mode. Yeah, and he's not going to... it costs him a fair bit of time having to go through the whole of swamp to get that sword, but he doesn't have to worry about the K45 or leaving out K45 forever and ever to get that sword. He's got it now. He can go finish off the siege, and I doubt he's going to get to that K45 sword ever. But so he's not going to be have a sword advantage over anybody else, but he's also not going to be behind either, at least in item loadout.
PRD Wong does have to stop in the refill room
because
he took a beating getting through the mimic room.
Ooh, yeah. Being stuck on Master Sword but having Silver Arrows here is really nice because you can take out most of these enemies in just a single Silver Arrow. The conveyor belts can mess with you a bit though.
I despise the Scontless series.
So he's taking out some of the Stalfos by just throwing pots at them because they don't really jump away from that. And taking out the Zazax by just running up to them and swording them because, well, for these ones, he's going to use the Fire Rod, which is a great choice. Because the ice and the conveyor belts really mess with you. But with the previous one, you can mostly just run up to them and sword them in the face and they just die.
It helps that Master Sword is enough to kill the blue ones in one shot.
Yeah. And you wouldn't be heading up here and he wouldn't be heading up here without in the Fighter Sword, no matter what this siege, luckily. But if you're heading up here in the Fighter Sword, that would be particularly painful, because you know you wouldn't be able to finish Ganon after that.
Interest Randomizer players know that pain. Now, these Wizrobe rooms where we use Samaria, one of my absolute favorite things to do.
Yeah, it's harder than it looks. You've got to be really, actually pretty precise with your movement in there to take out 3 of the Wizrobes and then hit the last one with your sword. It's a lot harder than it looks, actually. So it's a trick worth practicing if you're doing Ganon's Tower climb and you want to optimize it. POD is going pretty fast here, not waiting for the torches in the previous room to go out because he just heads straight up whilst they're still lit.
I'm not that confident in my execution.
If you are a little bit too slow with going up the stairs there, and you head upstairs at the same time the torches go out, you despawn a tower, which sounds really great because you then have no enemies to deal with up until you realise you can't actually get over the Moldom 2 gap coming up here because there's no Moldom for you to kill to activate the treasure chest. And if you were able to
I believe if you're actually able to get to Aghanim, can you?
Yeah, you can hover over, but there's no Aghanim. So you still wouldn't be able to finish the tower.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, so never despawn a tower. I've only seen it happen once in a race setting, and it was so bad. And there's just a heart container in Modern 2's chest, so no extra swords coming up here.
So we're getting to see Master Sword Ganon today.
Tyler Salt is heading up to Turtle Rock now, so maybe he will choose to go right first and find a sword over there. Hirschbauer just went left and grabbed his big key, just like PRD.
Windfox will be joining Tyler Salt on Turtle Rock shortly. Although both of them will probably take a moment and grab those silver arrows.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It saves you so much time in Ganon. There's no possible way you would leave those silver arrows behind on the floating island. Especially when you see them right on the way they're going to Turtle Rock, if you hadn't seen them in the first place.
Wind, where are you going?
Did he not kill Mothula yet?
Wind died of Mothula?
I don't think so. We saw somebody take a death to... We saw him take a death to Helmazor King, but I don't think I've seen... I'm not sure if he's been to the back of Skullwoods yet. I don't recall him
Wind
going
has
there.
not done Skullwoods. PRD Wong's fighting Ganon. Luckily, Ganon's playing nice and hiding in the corner.
And shoutouts to that cape popping up there for PRD Wong as well. This is going to make Ganon pretty easy for him.
Where? That cape was in Crystal Roller Room, I believe, wasn't it?
Yes,
so
it was in Crystal.
Well, you were looking for ease.
So everybody's going to grab that cape from Crystal Roller Room, which will help them when Ganon fights. It's not a sword, but it's the next best thing.
Although, their magic bar doing so.
Yeah, you don't really have to worry about your magic bar here much, because you've got that lamp for... which is a lot more magic efficient for lighting the lamp than the fire rod is, but even then you've still got half magic, so you can be quite liberal with your magic and still have plenty left over for fire rod shots on a torch. He dips into that red potion at the top of his health, staying safe. You definitely do not want to take a Ganon death at this point, because that will just set you back, and considering that he knows he's probably got a pretty good time advantage at this point over other people, he's not looking to make any mistakes here. He just wants a nice safe kill.
A nice double hit with those silvers.
Now, you're not looking to do silverless spins on Ganon here. You want to actually get him into the stun phase. His stun phase, so you can hit him with silver. But down goes Ganon. And as long as PRD Wrong makes it across the bridge here, he will be finishing first on our restream. Yeah, he makes it across, and he finishes with a racetime.gt time of 1 hour, 27 minutes, and 28 seconds, finishing in second place. Just ahead of him by almost 9 minutes was Orange, with a time of 1 hour, 80 minutes, and 3 seconds. So I'd really want to see how Orange managed to finish this seed so quickly, because PRD Wong did a really fantastic job here with his routing and his execution, finishing this in really quick time.
I would love to see that.
But yes, GG's to PRD Wong, and we'll see if he wants to join us for an interview shortly.
Meanwhile, Hydropower drops in on Ganon.
And that sounds like PRD Wong is joining us. GG.
GG's.
So you are ahead here on our restream, way over everybody else. I've got to say, that mirror, getting that so early on, did you a lot of favors here.
Well, I thought that would be pretty common, actually, because of the flute. I thought a bunch of people would go check that location early. I mean, that's why I did it.
Everybody else on the
first on restream.
By about 15 or 20 minutes or so.
Okay.
Everybody else on Restream put it off for quite a long time. And I'd say the major thing that Mirror did was get you to K45 and grab that sword so you can go get the KM Samurai from Bomber's tablets. And quite a few of our other runners have been lacking that. They were lacking that to the Mirror to get to K45. So they would do their Dark World routing, they'd skip by K45 and then put it off for a little bit longer. So they were missing out on it to go get their KM Samurai.
Yeah,
We did actually see there was a third sword in left side swamp, but one of our other Restream runners, Sprint Fox, managed to grab that sword. He hasn't gone to K45 at all, so he's still only on Master Sword.
Oh gosh.
Hydropower getting extremely lucky against that fire bat. Oh boy.
He's got a red potion. He probably should dip into that now because he's on half a heart left. He's not dipping into it.
Yeah, I was surprised more people hadn't finished. I mean, as you can tell, I kind of goofed off a bunch. I was just waiting for other people to finish.
Yeah, I gotta ask about how you glitched out blind there. I've seen like the acid blind, but I'm guessing you just activated your map at the same time as activating blind, and that just like pixelated the whole screen. Is that correct?
No, it's the mirror. So it's the same when the mirror.
Oh, it was the mirror. Okay.
And it fades out. Yeah, so it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah, it made things really difficult to keep track of on your screen for a while there, because it was hurting my eyes to look at it. Just the corner of the screen just like completely fuzzy.
And Hydropower finishes with an official racetime.gg time of 1 hour, 30 minutes, and 40 seconds, taking third place in this race.
Yeah, GG to Hydropower. He didn't get that mirror too much later, and he did get those boots quite a bit sooner than you, I think, from Mizumaya. He couldn't finish off Mizumaya in one go because he didn't have the cane of Samaya, so he had to double dip Mizumaya, and that's why he's a couple minutes behind you. But he's also done a pretty excellent job here.
Yeah, there was definitely room for improvement. Like I didn't go to Hera for a long time, and I obviously forgot to check the Misery Mire medallion on my first visit over there, so I had no idea it was Quake. And then at the when I was in Mire, I figured, well, I felt behind, so I just, when I saw the big key, I just went straight for Vitreous. But on my way there, I was like, boots open so few locations. Like I feel like that was the wrong play. Like if that second item in Mire was a hammer or something, it would have been in really bad shape.
Now, we did see that second item in Maya on the Hydropower side. I think it was some amount of rupees.
I believe it was a big 300.
And that was just in the map chest on the left side.
And Tyler Salt has 7 crystals.
So he will be on his rate against Tav shortly. So I gather Open Flute is a race mode that's not played very much on the daily races. I think this is like one of the first times it's actually being played on a restream. Do you have much experience with it? Because that flute opens up so much early on.
No, I don't think I've ever done it before. I just cobbled something together on the fly in the beginning. I thought I would use Flute more, like right at the very beginning, but like I needed bombs before I go to CAC, and then it's just, yeah, it wasn't really that useful.
And like I said, they are picking up their silver arrows en route to Ganon's Tower. Absolutely do not blame them.
And we're joined by Hydropower now. GG.
Thank you very much, friends. Happy Flute Friday, everybody.
Flute Friday, I like it.
It's not quite Fast Friday, but we'll take it, you know.
So the main thing keeping you back here, Hydropower, was the mirror on Nagina. So you had to double dip that Maya, unfortunately, to actually finish it.
That was a very unfortunate mirror. I was emoting on stream about how I felt about that. You may have seen. And it just created a bunch of awkward spots, at that point, because it's always bad when you find it in the middle of your run instead of either the beginning or the end. So then I'm like, well, I don't know, let's go to Tower of Hera, and then finding the Quake Medallion, I'm like, well, we got to follow this, I guess, and it was just weird, like it was boots into hammer into other stuff, and I'm like, I guess that's good, maybe that's a good thing. But then if you kind of look back at it, if you had the mirror first, you could kind of do that Dark World southern route all at once and collect all of the goodies that way. And yeah, it was just unfortunate. It's awkward, or it's ironic that we have the flute, and then I leave Agina for very late, even though it would have been a very easy place to go. But oh well, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, that was exactly the advantage POD Wrong had. He got that mirror early on from Agina, so when he did his South Dark World checks, he was able to walk in K45 immediately and get that Master Sword.
Yeah, that would have been really nice.
It wasn't strictly necessary there. We have found a third sword that was in left side swamp on Windfox's side, but it's definitely way better to go to K45 than left side swamp.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I was feeling pretty good about finding go mode outside of swamp, because then I could just not even worry about it. So I was feeling pretty good about that. But again, you kind of look back at it and you're like, no, this could have gone even better. And I didn't have the room up to see if anyone was finishing or not. So I thought I had a good chance that maybe it was going to be a high placement. And I guess third place, I mean, that's pretty good here. But yeah, it could have been even more optimized. But we're not playing spoilers here, unfortunately, so I can't optimize it as well as I could there. But it went all right. So I haven't done one of these big group races in like 3-4 months, so I'll take it.
And Windfox takes his 7th crystal. So that was a fun seed to watch. I'll give it that. I'm kind of glad I decided to come join the commentary booth rather than the racing room.
Yeah, there was some clowning around here, I guess. Yeah, if you, like I said, I didn't find the mirror right away, and that really kind of torpedoed things. I was really kind of thinking about just water walking over to Pod at some point, because I didn't have logical East Dark World, but I'm thinking like, well, I didn't go in the Back of Thieves, and maybe the Back of Thieves is like the Cape or something, and your logical access to East Dark World is Aga, and I don't want to do that. So I was doubling down on not going back to Thieves again, even though there were 4 items in the back. And I guess it worked out today. I didn't have to go back, and I didn't have to go to Pendant Ice either. So anytime you could avoid 2 out of 3 Pendant Dungeons completely, that's a good thing.
Oof, Tyler Salt takes a death in the Gauntlet. That's unfun. The Gauntlet is not a fun set of rooms.
Yeah, we actually did see PRD Wrong actually do splash deletion to get over onto the East Dark World before he had the hammer, obviously, from Bonkrock. So I think from there you did the pyramid check and then the front of Hyrule Castle, but he didn't actually take that into Paths of Darkness.
Okay,
Yeah,
fair enough.
I got sidetracked by the castle. I didn't really want to go into Pod without the hammer either, especially since it was out of logic.
It was technically in logic, but you would have to go to Aga 1 for that, and nobody really wants to do Aga 1 for East Dark World access.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah, I was thinking of the splash delete too before I had boots, and I did a reset because I think something gets screwed up with splash delete if you've done the Armos Knights. I don't know if that's true or not. I was just vaguely remembering something about that, so I did a save and quit and then a quick reset to whatever, change that variable or something. But it didn't end up actually needing to be done, so it worked out in the end. And I went back for the silver arrows after I did Hera, even though that was a bit out of the way, because I was thinking, if I'm going to Mire and I do find the cane, I don't want to do a Fighter Sword Vitreous. That's not going to work out. So I figured I'd hedge it there with the silvers, and I guess I got some more use out of them before I, was done anyway. So it was probably like a net 0 gain, maybe, but it certainly made things easier.
See, Ocelot, I told you that's why he did it.
Yeah, I was kind of debating a bit whether going for silver arrows first, just doing Fighter Sword 50 was faster, but it's definitely safer at any rate. And if you have an accident against 50, then it's fast drive away.
Yeah, if I had Master Sword, I would have been okay with just going, because I think I had the blue cane. Yeah, I got the blue cane there too, and you can just kind of mash the eyeballs with it while having the cane invincibility, especially with half magic. So that wouldn't have been a problem. But Fighter Sword, you can't do that, and I can do something with like bombs and arrows, but then the 10 and 30 aren't really quite enough. You kind of want to get the capacity upgrades too, and I'm like, well, I don't want to fake flipper over there just to go get that, just to do this, when I can get a lot more utility out of the silver arrows anyway. So I'd just like to say thank you guys for your volunteering and commentary and everything today. It was fun to get back into a big group race again here. I appreciate it, and appreciate you having me on here, and we'll see you guys around, okay? Everybody have a good weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for joining us. If you do want to stick around a bit longer, Tyler Salt is approaching the end of Gauntlet right now, and Ren Fox is right behind if you wanted to chat to him a bit. But if he wants to head off for the night, then I would totally understand. So GG's once again.
Thank you. We'll see you around.
Yeah, same here. Thanks to everyone, but I will drop out for a little bit. It was a lot of fun. I hope people were entertained.
We were definitely entertained with some of your glitches you pull. Your screen breaks you did. Like the pixelated blind. We'll admit, chat was giving us some vomit emotes. And I do believe we as commentators missed a couple of things you picked up, because it was kind of hard to look at.
Yeah, open flute means super open. Everybody was going everywhere.
That was a fun commentary trip to do. Winfox is working on this very out-of-control Landmo fight. Landmos are not playing nice today. And Tyler Salt's going into the second fight with the Muldorm. Oh, actually, for this seed, it's the first fight with the Muldorm, because I forgot, we didn't do Tower of Hera.
Yeah, people went South Hera to get their Craig Medallions and then just left because he got both items from there already. No reason to do basement or Moldor. Unless you were banking on pedestal, but not this time. Tyler did take a little bit of a fall to Moldorm too there, so he just claimed one victim today, but he gets the job done the second time.
Luckily for Tyler Salt, yep. It was the first. It was at the very beginning of the fight, so he didn't lose progress.
And Winfox is playing a bit dicey with Landmolus too here. He's on half a heart. Are there small hearts in these pots? I think there's one. Yeah, there's one.
I do think, I'm not completely certain, but I think the Wizrobes might be on a heart-dropping pack.
Just rupees. At least this time. Didn't you mention earlier that the stun prize was a fairy? So we could hookshot
I don't think Fox knows that, though.
Yeah, we could hookshot the guards in here and then kill them and get a fairy. And, well, not this time, because they kind of get stuck on one side of the conveyor bridge.
Just don't get hit by the fire snake. Or do that.
No! Oh, he takes a fall in the torch room, and you'd often do that to get back to the entrance, but if you do that on one heart remaining, you get sent back to the beginning.
And Tyler Salt is coming up on the fight with Ganon.
Winfox, he has powder. He really should go powder that anti-variant and get his health back. He needs it. Hello, where was Tyler going? I just saw him at the bottom of the pyramid.
Actually, never checked pyramid lead, so seeing if it happened to be a sword or a heart.
Oh, okay.
The funniest time to check pyramid lead, right before you fight Ganon.
Yes, so things were looking pretty close here between Tyler Salt and Windfox, but that death has just put such a big gap between them now. If Tyler Salt takes a death here, he's still going to be a fair bit ahead of Windfox at this point, because Windfox is got much more to cover, having to climb up the tower again. And he's going to go back into that safety room to grab some fairies once more.
I don't blame him. This game is not being very generous with its health bars.
Tyler Salt has a bunch of health. But Windfox has actually got the least heart containers out of any of her runners. Oh, Ganon hug.
Ran out of magic on the fight.
Tyler Salt takes the spiciest hug in the land of Hyrule and gets sent back to top of the pyramid. And he's just going to dive back in again for another try.
Does he have magic potions?
I know he chucked a bottle at... I know somebody chucked a bottle at the Waterfall Fairy at one point and got a blue potion back. I can't remember if it was him. I think it's probably him because he, like you say, he's got no magic left. So unless it's just a huge mistake, he's going to be topping up sometime during the fight. Okay, Tracker Red Armor says he also restocked at the witch, so he's got potions.
Thank you to our trackers. They give us information we don't have. Oh,
yeah,
yep,
there's that blue potion, and he's dipping into it now because he needs health. Checks his other
potions.
Yeah, checks his other bottle and sees he's got another blue remaining. Windfox is approaching the torch room again and has got quite a bit more health this time on up the gauntlet than the previous time.
That's a good thing.
So he can take a fall here to reset himself back to the beginning of the room while lighting the torches and still be safe. But I believe the first time was accidental. He was he just was a little off with his movement when getting around the block in the middle there and took a fall and a death.
It did look accidental, yes.
Tyler Salt uses half of his magic to take on the Firebat phase of Ganon. He's actually dipping into his magic a little bit more here because he knows he's got another blue potion that he can dip into and activates that cape once more to get the phase done. He's into phase 3 now.
Drink that potion.
Now, I believe in the amount of... I wasn't counting the amount of teleports Ganon was doing for Hydropower and PRD wrong. The amount of teleports he does is fixed on your first dive into the pyramid. It is randomized depending every time you do randomizer, but the first time is going to be fixed for everybody who does the same seed. But if you take a death like Tyler Salt, I believe that resets it.
That is correct.
He gets a Ganon stun there, and there goes another one. And now he's just got to hit a silver arrows. It looks like he missed a torch glitch there, but he's got so much magic that it doesn't matter for him.
Ganon placements are not being nice for doubles, unfortunately.
Fire back to the face, but it's not a big deal.
Trolldorn living up to his name today. And Tyler Salt kills Ganon. Just got to make it through that door.
Yeah, he's staying well south of the abyss there. There's no chance he will fall in, even if he holds up as soon as he gets control back again. He makes it across.
With an official unofficial race time GG time of 1 hour 48 minutes and 15 seconds for 11th place in the race.
Windfox claims his heart container from the Moldog 2 chest and is looking a bit healthier on the heart containers now. I think a bunch of these heart containers were in the top of GT here because PRD wrong is on 12, hydropower 11, Tide Assault was 13, I think, and Windfox is now just gone 12, but when he was climbing up the gauntlet and took his death, he was only on 10. Windfox also getting a triple on Aga2 there. I think that's got to be one of the easiest triple setups I've seen for Aga2, possibly ever. I think even I would get a triple there. And that's saying something.
And Windfox finishes his lesson in agonometry.
I don't think he has a potion anymore because he would have used it on the gauntlets before he took his death. So he may choose to mirror out and go over to the ridge to get himself another potion. I probably would do the same in his position. So see if Tide wants to join us for an interview shortly, whilst we watch Windfox finish up this seed. And he has not got a potion, so he's going to see if he can get this done in one try. Again, he's got that half magic and cape to help him, which is a huge boon here for Master Sword.
I do appreciate getting to watch a good Master Sword Ganon, because it does show...
Oh! Ganon
that
hug.
Was a
That's
nasty hug.
his help.
Those blue mail hugs hurt. Because while Fire Bats with blue mail do 3 heart damage, Ganon does 6.
Sounds like we're joined by Tyler Salt now. GG.
Thanks. GG to everybody else. Man, I hate it when a race turns on just one tiny, small mistake right at the beginning. Whenever I have the flute and I finish Kakariko Village, I always flute to 6 and check Agina first, and then go running through the South Shore that way. And I misfluted right there, and so I just let it go. And so I would have had to mirror it before 10 minutes.
Right. Don't worry, you weren't the only one who did that. So the only one of our restream runners who got that mirror actually early was PRD wrong. He took the flute to 6 and got the mirror before the South Shore. But everybody else, they put off it, including you, they put off that mirror for a long time.
And with that death again, Windfox has done a forfeit in the race time room.
Ah, that is unfortunate.
Yeah, GG to Windfox, man. Were there other swords somewhere that I didn't?
There
Left side
was
swamp.
one in Left Side Swamp, but Windfox did not get
Oh,
K45s.
Oh no, okay, yeah. So I was never gonna go to Left Side Swamp, considering that flippers were my go mode. So I was never gonna.
Yeah, he went to Swamp Pass before doing K45, so he did the Swamp Pass full clear looking for items, and he found another sword, but which meant that he skipped out on K45 forever because he got his KM Samurai for go mode right after that. We'll see if he wants to join us for an interview. I think he will be joining us, actually, but he was having a fairly rough time in his seed overall. Was taking a few deaths here and there, and that last death from Ganon is he's probably had enough of this. So we'll see if he does join us.
That seed was not nice to the runners today.
No, it really wasn't. I was thinking for a second that I was going to have Hammer and Pyramid Fairy until I realized that TR was the other 5/6 crystal, but I was prepared for that.
And we're joined by Windfox now. GG's to you.
GG Windfox.
GG everyone. That was probably one of my worst execution seeds in a few months.
It was bad. GG.
Like, I'm not happy at all with how I played. The seed wasn't bad at all. It was horrible. I'm not happy.
Yeah, you were having a rough time overall. There was the death on Helmasaur, and up the gauntlet, and then that last death on Ganon. I totally don't fault you for forfeiting there. It's just rough overall for you.
Like, I don't remember the last time I even died to Helmasaur. That was pretty much the beginning of the full tilt right there. Was that death?
A tilt happens to the best of us, man. You put up a good show regardless.
I'm curious, who was of the four of us? Who was the first one to the Dark World? Because I know I made that Death Mountain play extremely early.
Into the Dark... Okay. Official Into the Dark World was you. PRD Wong did a Moon Pearl-less dive to the Misery Mire area. And did a Super Bunny into Mire Shed.
Okay.
Of
Which
course he
that-
did. That's a very pretty one.
Yeah, like that was definitely an option I considered, but I decided I don't know the Mire Shed Super Bunny well enough to even try it, so I was like, I'll just keep going where it wants me to go. With the Flute and Hookshot, it's obvious Death Mountain play.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, you've got to activate a mirror on the same frame as you walk into the cave, and of course, PRD Wrong had just grabbed his mirror right before going into well, he'd got his mirror first, and then that just meant he could go to Super Bunny straight away because he'd already got the title submits from Kakariko. So he's just like, grab mirror, okay, can do Super Bunny now? Let's do that.
Yeah, which makes sense. But yeah, the seed in general wasn't bad. I mean, it pretty much told you where to go the entire way.
Say the main problem you had here was that you did the full clear swamp where everybody else did not do a full clear swamp. Your actual third sword, what could have been your third sword, was over there in K45. And
Really?
that led people to the Bomber's tablet to get the Chaos Mire, and then they went into Go Mode Swamp Palace right after that.
Oh wow. So I just could not get it routed in properly. So I was just like, because my goal was to Bombo's tablet into K45 and then go from there, and I got the cane right away. I was like, well, I guess I'm just Master Sword this rest of the seed.
But that's why PRD Wrong did so well here, because he got that mirror early. If you didn't get that mirror early, then it was really difficult routing in K45. It was pretty much the last thing all of you Tyler and Hydropower, put it off until last thing. It was like K45 into Bomber's tablets. And for you, it's just like no K45, but he did Swamp Palace instead.
Yeah, this is another thing where if I hadn't misfluted right at the beginning and gone to 6 and done Agina immediately like I had intended to, I would have gotten the mirror and I would have been able to loop that back in with the rest of my kind of Southern Dark World checks and would have had the boots 45 minutes earlier, the whole thing.
Yeah, I know I got the boots like super late, but the logic to get the boots was it was really dumb to have to go up to Hera to get the Quake, to go in to Mire to get the boots, to get the hammer off of Bonk Rocks. Like, that was just such horrible logic.
Yeah, super rude. Thanks, Seed. Thanks, Sahaba.
Yeah, we have been talking about the logical chain there, and Hydropower actually had to double dip Mire because he went in without the Canes to Mire, so he got his boots from there and then started routing the rest of the Light World checks and Dark World checks. So he got his it was the what was it in Bonk Rocks again? It was the hammer.
That was hammer and Bonk Rocks.
Hammer and Bonk Rocks.
That's funny. Double dipping Mire was actually the play, like 1,000%. Like, if I had gone into Mire at like the first time I went over there and gotten the boots, then who knows? But I let it go because I didn't have the cane, and I just had fighter swords, so I didn't feel like going in there anyway. But that's funny that a double dip of Mire actually ended up being maybe the best play because it got you the hammer so much.
Yeah.
It wasn't a lengthy double dip for Hydropower because the second item was 300 rupees on the left side, and I think it was the map chest. The one blocked in the spike room with the crystal blocks blocking it.
I think that's Compass Chest. I'm not certain.
Well, map chest or compass chest is one of them.
The compass one, I think. Yeah, but
okay.
Still, whatever. Nobody cares unless it's.
Nobody cares. We
Nobody cares
if it's a map in Insanity, but that's it. So again, GG to you guys. I probably imagine you guys have about as much experience as anybody else doing open flute mode, because I don't think it's a mode played very much at all. One of our trackers today, Mind of Me, who does an excellent job around speed gaming in general, was saying it's one of the first times this has ever been restreamed in general. So mostly a new experience for everyone, really.
I didn't know the preset existed till today.
Yeah, I really liked it actually. You know, it cuts out so much travel time. It's really nice. It's nice to be able to, you know, to be able to jump around right away. Getting the flute early, no matter what, is fun. Having it activated right away takes away my favorite meme, but that's okay. I'm all right. Maybe everybody should just put 07s in chat, just right at the top of the race. Just like, go 07, and everybody salutes, and then we get it over with.
Oh, don't worry. We had our meme quota courtesy of PRD wrong earlier. He did some strange things at Blind if you want to check out the restream.
Oh yeah, no, another Pretty Wong special there is the it's screwing up with that screwing up in the pixels with the blind fight.
And of course, he left it like that for about the next 20 minutes.
Oh, of course, yeah, no, absolutely. If you're gonna do that, then go whole hog and do it for as long as possible. But yeah, thanks for the restream. Appreciate it. It's been a while. This was fun.
Yeah, and thank you too for putting on a great race. Do you guys have any final thoughts about the race today, the mode?
I enjoyed it. It was my first time doing it. It made routing very, very fun, very interesting. It let going Uncle straight to CAC like instantly without having to save and quit and then have to run all the way there. It was just, it cut off the 30 seconds of saving and quitting and running over there. So I vote more Flute start.
Yeah, it was.
Sure.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I liked being able to. Yeah, like I said, it was a cool mode. I'd never played it before, so it was fun to see. And then it can, you know, open itself up to finish times like Orange had. Looking in the race time, GG the first finisher was at 1:18. So you know that's a nice thing that's possible when you get the flute right at the.
Yeah, PRD Wrong did a really beastly job with this seed, and then he somehow Orange beaten by 9 minutes, so I think I'm going to have to check that out too.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, thank you for joining us today. So I think we're about ready to wrap things up here. We don't have a schedule posted for next week yet, as far as I know, but the next daily race will be on Monday sometime, at either 2 p.m., 7 p.m., or 9 p.m. Eastern. So we don't know what motors will be put, but I believe they will be posted sometime on Sunday. So we'll find out around Sunday time when the races will be and what modes they will be. And I would definitely like to see more open flute. This was definitely fun to watch, and yeah, I'm surprised it hasn't been played more. I guess it is a fairly new mode. But yeah, thank you for the race today. Shout outs again to our trackers, Mind of Me and Red Armor, doing an excellent job tracking today. And thank you to you too, Zeke, for joining me on comms today.
Absolutely, Ocelot. Thanks for having me here.
And I hope everyone watching today has had fun too. And we'll see you in the next daily race.